Somewhere in a small town in Michigan, a 13-year-old girl picks up her phone. And there it is again. Another message. From a number she doesn't recognise. She's never met this person. She never gave out her number. But somehow, they know things. They know where she sits in class. They know what she told her best friend yesterday. They know her secrets. And they use every single one of them to hurt her. For 15 months, the messages never stop. The numbers keep changing. The cruelty keeps escalating. The police are baffled. Her classmates are questioned. Eventually, the FBI is called in. And when they finally trace the unknown number, the answer is so close to home that no one is prepared for it. This is the story of Lauryn Licari and the person on the other end of the phone. It began in October 2020. Lauryn Licari was 13 years old, an ordinary teenager in the small community of Beal City, Michigan. She had a boyfriend named Owen, a close circle of friends, a completely normal life. Then the texts started. At first, just a handful of messages from numbers nobody recognised, but they turned cruel, fast. Whoever was behind them told Lauryn she was worthless. They picked apart her looks, her relationship, her friendships, anything they could find. And it wasn't only Lauryn. Owen began getting them too. Messages clearly designed to drive the young couple apart. The numbers changed constantly, dozens of them. Block one, and another would appear, as if the sender could summon a brand new identity at will. But the most frightening part wasn't the cruelty, it was the knowledge. Whoever this was didn't just dislike Lauryn, they knew her. They knew what she'd done that day, who she'd spoken to, exactly what she was most insecure about. It didn't feel like a stranger. It felt like someone watching from the inside. The family went to the police. And this is where the case becomes a nightmare with no edges, because the messages came from anonymous texting apps, deliberately routed to hide where they came from. Investigators couldn't simply pull up a name, so they waited, they gathered, they watched. Months passed, then a year, and the harassment didn't stop. It got worse. Suspicion began to fall on the people closest to Lauryn. Classmates were questioned, friendships fractured under the doubt. For a time, even Owen, her own boyfriend, was suspected of secretly sending the messages himself. Think about that. Being tormented every single day and being told the person doing it might be sitting right beside you. The toll on Lauryn was enormous. The relentless cruelty, the paranoia, never knowing who to trust, wore her down in ways no 13-year-old should ever have to carry. And still, the texts kept coming. 15 months of them. An entire town of suspects, and not one single answer. Eventually, local investigators did the one thing that would finally crack the case open. They brought in the FBI. Digital forensic specialists started doing exactly what the harasser had gambled they never could, untangling the web of spoofed numbers and masking apps. Because whoever was behind this had been careful, meticulous. They'd used a VPN, a tool that hides your real internet address behind a fake one. They had mimicked the slang of teenagers, blending in, sounding like just another kid from school. They had thought of everything. But here's the truth about the internet. No one is truly invisible. Not really. Every message leaves a trace, a faint digital fingerprint. And slowly, patiently, the investigators followed those traces back. back past the burner apps, back past the VPN, back through every layer built to keep them out, until it all narrowed to a single internet connection. And when they saw whose home that connection belonged to, the case stopped being a mystery and became something far darker. The messages, the cruelty, the 15 months of fear. They had all been coming from inside Lauryn's own home. The person sending them was her mother. Kendra Licari, 42 years old, had been anonymously tormenting her own teenage daughter and her daughter's boyfriend for more than a year. The woman comforting Lauryn after every cruel message was the very woman who had written it. In December 2022, Kendra Licari was arrested. In March 2023, she pleaded guilty to 2 counts of stalking a minor. She was sentenced to a minimum of 19 months in prison and agreed, as part of her plea, to have no contact with her daughter. And to this day, investigators have never been able to answer the only question that truly matters. Why? Why a mother would do this to her own child remains, in almost every way, unexplained. We warn our children about strangers online, the predator in the chat room, the catfish behind the fake profile. And those dangers are real. But Lauryn Licari's story is a colder reminder that sometimes the person hiding behind the unknown number is someone we would never, ever think to suspect. That the call can come from inside the house. Today, Lauryn is an adult. She has spoken openly about what happened to her, taking back the story that was once used as a weapon against her. If this episode has affected you, and you or someone you know is struggling with online harassment, please reach out to someone you trust, or to a support line like the Samaritans on 116 123. And if you want to read more true stories like this one, the crimes quietly unfolding behind our screens, check out the Cybercrime Chronicles. Subscribe, and I'll see you on the next case.